Greetings. So it is being announced that Dr. Charles Stanley has passed away. The First Baptist Church of Atlanta community is mourning the loss of arguably Atlanta's most prominent pastor, who was the driving engine of one of the largest faith organizations in the world. Dr. Charles Stanley died at the age of 90. Stanley led the church for 51 years. In Atlanta, he was known as the most distinguished faith leaders in the city's history. Stanley founded a new way of faith with his congregation, In Touch Ministry, which became a global conglomerate. He would ultimately become a powerhouse in his devotion. The church said that he will truly be missed as his reach extended far beyond the metro area. At this time, his family has requested that the memorial service honoring his life be private. A public repose will be held Saturday starting at 10 a.m. at the church he pastored for decades. He is survived by his daughter Becky, his son Andy, along with his sister Susie, and the church community said. Stanley was born on September 25th, 1932 in Virginia. The church said that he first got a calling to the ministry at the age of 14. He would then go to school in Texas to get his degree in divinity. He moved to Atlanta to get his doctorate degree in theology. Stanley preached all over the country, from Ohio, Florida, before landing in Atlanta. His show, The Chapel Hour, aired on 11 Live in the 70s. The show would then be syndicated nationwide. It was renamed In Touch with Dr. Stanley, where he taught the country about Bible. The show will currently air. The show still currently airs on 11 Alive. The show, which reached more than millions of homes, would then lead to the growth of the ministry as a separate nonprofit organization called In Touch Ministries in the early 80s. He would become the driving force of one of the largest ministries in the world. From that point on, Dr. Stanley tirelessly sought out and employed innovative technologies to send message of Jesus Christ to the ends of the earth. His biography reads. Dr. Charles Stanley was the country's largest serving pastor with a continuous weekly broadcast program. His teachings were heard in more than 127 languages around the world at the time of his death. In Touch Ministries would truly change the lives of people. He was noticed for his work and organizations, winning multiple awards and honored in many organizations. The Atlanta pastor was also recognized for selling more than 10 million copies of his book. He published his last book this year. His last book was published this year. So again, it is announced that Dr. Charles Stanley passed away. I think it was April 18th. Yes, yesterday. April 18th, 2023.
Quick to forgive. A strong person is quick to forgive. You want to hinder yourself. You hold a grudge. You be unforgiving, and you say, well, what's that got to do with a strong life? I'll tell you what it has to do. A person who has an unforgiving spirit, it will affect you. Ultimately, it will affect your very physical body. If you have an unforgiving spirit, you hold grudges, you have a sense of hate. Those attitudes that affect the person, because you see, whatever affects your emotions affects your body, because you can't separate spirit and emotions and physical body. It all goes together. And it isn't just a spiritual thing, it's a spiritual thing to act that way, but it becomes a physical thing. What you think and how you feel makes all the difference in the world.